Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married, and the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Isn't Nick a Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in, folks, on this fine Monday. It's a fine Monday to be back. It's Monday. It's White History Month. You're all here, and we got a bit of a show for you, and I'm glad to be back. I'm nice and loud in my ears. I'm nice and loud in your ears, hopefully. You're getting all jagged up by the sound of my voice. Okay, welcome all the folks, okay? Let's show a little manners and welcome the people on this fine Monday, this fine White History Month Monday. I'm glad that you all had a great weekend. I could see you guys here. Excited. I did too. Great stuff. We're going to get into it, okay? But first, Rumble. How you doing? Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're there. I see you. Don't worry. The energy will come because you're here too. YouTube, okay? Shout out to all of you dancing it up in the chat. And punchy.tv/anchor, baby. We got to say hello to the people, okay? Say hello. Jump in the chat. Leave a like. Leave a comment underneath. You know how it is. It's like, tell us you're alive. We got a bunch to get into. A couple of things to get into, okay? So thank you. But there's some housekeeping. What am I doing? 888-775-3773. You got something on your mind, something you want to talk about. Burning questions, something you want to get off your chest, please. 888-775-3773. What else? I mean, look, great Hake Report. I'm doing my housekeeping here, and I'm just remembering now. I'm seeing it in my vision. It's calling to me. I might even have to get up. It's so nice. Lee Peterson .shop. Okay, we're making the fanfare. Because they're nice and you might want one, okay? You may not even know that they're available. You rock, sir. Yes, you read my mind. You heard the audio. And do me one more favor, sir. A little fan action. Send it right to the anchor, baby. Yes. July Feels White. Get your hats, okay? Look, you may not even know that they're available. You may not know they exist. Okay, you're like, whoa, this... I was there at the beginning of White History Month. I didn't see these. I understand. Check them out now. Red, blue, white, classy, cool, bold. Okay, White History Month on the side. Okay, let them know you're rocking it. Okay, and it's a nice embroidered hat, high quality stuff. Okay, and get yours if you want one. Okay, by all means. I mean, White History Month comes every year, so check them out. In the embroidery, in the hands. Great stuff, okay? Your coin, your merch, your books, all on that store. What can I say? July Feels White. You gotta rock it a little. I mean, certain areas maybe. You know your area. Know where you... I care for my peoples. Okay? Know your area. So that's pretty much the housekeeping, okay? What else is on my mind? Look, before we jump into this, we got to get into this story here. I think you'll like it. I wasn't going to talk about it, Kevin. I really wasn't. I wasn't going to mention it. I wasn't even going to mention it. I didn't think I had nothing to say because I didn't see it. I didn't watch the game. You guys see the FIFA World Cup final, Argentina, Spain. Did you guys watch it? I didn't watch it. I wasn't even going to say anything, but I was talking to a friend. Briefly right before starting. I was talking to a friend, and it made me want to talk about it. So it's funny. I didn't watch it, but yeah, who watched it? FIFA. There was a lot behind it. There was a lot of emotion, a lot of story behind it too. Like it was like there's different levels, right? There was an elite versus like the elite snobs versus like the men of the people were beating the snobs versus like how the other side sees themselves, maybe like the opposing of that. Or it was like even like a white-black thing, kind of like, oh, look at this diverse team versus people made all sorts of things about it. I was talking to a friend and he was like, it's just last time I have faith in just one person or something like that, like faith in Messi, faith in one person. And no shade. I was just thinking when I was hearing that, I'm like, that has nothing to do with your faith in like Messi or not. Like, I'm looking at some match stats. 12 shots on goal, Spain on Argentina. 0 shots on goal, if this is true. Argentina on Spain. That sounds like domination. That sounds like they got whooped. And it's just like the better team won kind of thing, right? Like I watch it just for the football, like maybe just to see how they played. But on paper, that's what it looks like, right? And I'm looking at my friend and I'm thinking, anything besides GG is like, you hate life. You hate everybody. You're just a hateful person, maybe. I don't know. It's just, this is deeper than life sometimes. This is deeper than politics, man. But anything besides GG, like good game, Because that's what I want to see, a good game. That's why I like Messi, because it's like he's just like the best. It's like hard to not like it, but it's like a lot of other things for people. I want to see the football. 12 shots on goal. What can I say? I wonder where that ball was on which half for how mostly how long of the match. I say it was probably on Argentina's side. But anyways, shout out. I thought I saw Trump out there, just like chopping it up with the people, the winners. You hear him talking about it, like, anyways, funny stuff. GG, it's like nasty devils too, like hyenas. Like, oh, they wanted to see. I don't know. They saw something nasty and like, oh, these people just deserve to lose. And I'm like, what's any of this got to do with football, with soccer? The best team won. The best team won, right? But it's like all this other stuff for people. So that's why personally for me, I wanted to see, then I take a side too, right? I want to see Argentina win to like, shut up haters. It's like, what do you have to hate? Like, let's just say GG. Just say GG. But anyways, that doesn't matter. Okay, best team won. So shout out, pretty cool. Okay, but you guys are done with all that, right? You're like, this is America, Nick. This is America. Okay, folks, I'm not saying I'm happy. I'm not saying like I'm not gloating. People like to I'm not gloating. I'm gloat in your face. It's like, oh, what? I don't love you guys? You just gloat in your face. Oh, okay, this guy doesn't love us. No, this is not gloating, but the country's changing. Okay. And it's happening even in my lifetime. So actually, there's pain even there. Okay, I've seen it. But look. Let's not get too deep. Remember the themes as we get into Georgia Power. They're all involved, okay? This is an interesting one. I think you guys might enjoy this for a bit. Let's do the Georgia Power thing. 888-775-3773. We'll get to the super chatters. I see you. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. I see you, Rumble. I see you, YouTube. Check it. Okay, because you guys got to... Okay, where were we? Georgia Power. They're expanding. They're saying eminent domain. They're saying theft. They're saying they're taking my home. It's the government. And it's all for what? For ChatGPT? Freaking everybody hates ChatGPT. But everybody is telling ChatGPT their secrets all day. But okay, I don't know. Why is ChatGPT getting so big? ChatGPT is taking my home. It's Georgia Power. And you heard about it. To be more accurate, ChatGPT is not taking their homes. Okay, it's Georgia Power. It's like the government. It was like the local government. The state government. A state utility. Georgia Power is building a new 35-mile, 500 kilovolt. How much is that? How do you kilovolt? I thought I'd heard Bill talking about kilovolts the other day. He may be summoned, but that doesn't matter. It's not that. I don't even know what that is. Kilovolts, 500 of them. Transmission line. They need a transmission line. You got to send these kilovolts, right? And they're transmitting them. It's called the Ashley Park Wansley project. Okay, and they're connecting this thing. There's substations. Okay, Fayette County, if you're watching. Okay, Heard County, if you're watching. And they're connecting these stations. 300 parcels of land. It's going to cross Coweta, Fayette, Fulton, Heard. Okay, 35 miles. They're saying this has got to handle this expansion of power. They need more power. You got to send it more. They're surging in electricity demands and population. They're booming. Call it booming. I hear there's a lot of development in Georgia. There may be some good. There may be some. I've seen actually for myself good property opportunities in Georgia in certain places. I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't want to ruin certain people's spot. I don't want to ruin certain people's spot right now. But especially if you have like a foothold there, if you're like regularly going there, you could check that out, see yourself. It's like you got an opportunity. But we're getting off the beaten path here. Look, Georgia's developing. People are like not happy because it's affecting some of them. And the company is saying, they're saying this themselves, 70 to 80% of the power on this new line will serve, they're estimated will serve data centers. These data centers. It's just like a monolith, right? Just data center, like, like just big. Is that the, what's the like, what am I trying to think of? Like something sci-fi here, like some sort of like gated city, monolith, obelisk, you don't understand. Data center. They're building them. Okay. They say it's for AI, but I mean, they do a lot. They do storage. They do computing. They do a lot of things. But yes, it is AI. That is pushing this. Okay. They call it the AI boom. $16 billion grid expansion. Okay. They're you get it. They're building them. And the thing is, eminent domain, you heard about eminent domain, that the government's coming to just take it, okay? We're going to build this, and if you don't like it, we're going to take it. And too bad, so sad. It's not nice, maybe. Eminent domain is the final resort, though. That's something that's, again, very rare, according to Georgia Power themselves, okay, but other websites, Make and Melody, whatever. Less than 1% of transactions are eminent domain because most people don't need to. Well, here's the thing. Most people get offered this purchase price of their homes and they take it because it's necessarily the best case scenario in terms of selling your home. I mean, one of the things is, can you get a good price on it? Who's going to buy it and doing the whole thing, putting it on the market, the cost of all that. You don't have to worry about any of that. This is an above market price offer, usually nicely above, according to estimates. I don't know. I'm going to trust this website, Make and Melody, Georgia Power, mrod.law. I'm going to trust them. I'm not going to look deeper on. I'm chosen not to spend resources on that. Looking deeper on, are they really getting a higher price? Now, I'm not saying it's all tulips, daisies. I imagine having to pick up your life, moving everything that has its own cost and all that. But that doesn't change. It is the best case scenario purchase of your home. Like it's like above market show you, and it's right away. We'll just take it. And the other path is fight the government. So I imagine that's why less than 1% of transactions go to eminent domain. They take it, but some people are like, no, this is my home. This is my home. And that's a fine reason, I think. That's a fine reason. Now, you might want to weigh them. I could be an outsider and be like, well, weighing things here, it's like, this is your home, a fine reason to fight it and stay for it, but you're fighting the government. And it's like, with the other pathways, call it pragmatic, right? Call it pragmatic. But that's how it is. But here's the reason why I was saying theft is an emotional word. I'm just calling it as it is. That's it. You think I want to be cold? You think it's like, it's about being cold and saying they're wrong. And it's about, if I was in their same situation, heck yeah. And I wanted to keep it, by the way. And for some reason, I decided this is more important. Fighting the government and this the money and all that is more important. Then yes, I'd use the emotional words. I'd be like, use the emotional, use what angle? What do we got here? Like a lot is off the table. Maybe I won't say nothing, but whatever. Yeah, I'm going to emotionalize it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's pretty much, it's effectively theft for me. That's a good one right there, huh? That's a good one right there for you. Okay, but I'm just calling it what it is, right? Theft, emotional language. I saw this girl crying about it, right? And look, if it was happening to me, I'm not trying to be, whatever. It's just like, that's the part that obviously you understand. That's like, I don't have to repeat. So call it a sounding cold from me, but it's like, no, that's the part that's obvious. I wouldn't want that happening to me. Let's say I really wanted that home for some reason. And so it's a fine, if you want to use it as part of your warfare here, then do it. But I got to say, what's the point here? Besides number one, that it's I'm just calling it what it is. You're emotionalizing it. You're getting paid. You're calling it theft. there's actually some interesting
imagine
aspects, I think, to this when you actually want your talk. If you allow me to riff on this, and then we'll get to the callers, 888-775-3773. You're coming in. There's actually something interesting when you like just hear them talk a little bit. And it's just like, okay, I may be kind of being quite generous in maybe concocting this scenario where you're just using the emotional words as ammo in this well thought out offensive. And it's actually not that at all. I'm starting to think poor people here, like they're not being very smart.
One day and being
Emotions, smarts, they go against each other. But look, where was I here? Let me turn this up a bit. We'll get to calls, 888-775-3773. There's some interesting things here. Look, generational wealth, right? You heard that. Wait, let's just watch this a little bit. It's like, what are you talking about, Nick? Let me turn up the volume a bit.
the home your family has lived in for years.
Imagine this.
All right, imagine waking up one day and being told the home your family has lived in for years is going to be demolished to help power the AI boom, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. That is what is happening to some homeowners in Georgia. They've been given an ultimatum: sell your home or the state will take it. Utility giant Georgia Power is planning to build a new transmission line so it can handle new data centers. Skylar Henry has more from a county just outside Atlanta.
I'm a single mom. I worked hard for everything.
How do you put a price on a home you never intended to sell? One filled with more than 2 decades of memories.
I think I was 5 or 6 when this was built.
The treehouse where you grew up playing pretend. The yard where you buried your pets. The greenhouse that fed your family.
When you talk about what being on this property means to you,
yeah,
right? It's y'all's.
It's ours.
It's y'all's.
It's ours. It's my mom's. It's mine. It's my daughter's. It's our family. We belong here.
But Ansley Brown's childhood home likely won't be here much longer. That's because the state's largest utility, Georgia Power, says it needs the area to make way for a 35-mile-long transmission line.
Georgia Power has been here for as long as Ansley's mother has owned this property. It's just beyond the tree line. Now, with the expansion of this latest project, they're looking to take the 2.5 acres the house sits on.
Georgia Power says increasing demand from homes, businesses, and data centers has outpaced the capacity of its existing grid, and building a new transmission line requires acquiring more than 300 parcels of land, including residential properties.
What did your mom tell you she wanted for this property to be?
Generational wealth. So I have a young daughter. This home is supposed to go to her. True generational wealth was the idea.
So, and then that's the part I'm listening to, like generational wealth. And then I'm like, well, now it's about reason here. Now it's actually just about reason and logic here for a second, because well, you're not being very smart about this. Generational wealth. I mean, there's one. What are you really talking about there? Put it in 2 columns: sentimental value and generational wealth. Something you can pass down that has value. And this particular home, call it cold, but it's just a matter of just the facts, or is that just because when you see it my way, this is like you're not gonna make it attitude. There's no way that Georgia Power can take your generational wealth. There's nothing in this scenario is taking it. And for you to even say such a thing, that's first like a lie. It is giving power. That's like you don't even understand what generational wealth is. Then you shouldn't even have it. Like, well, do you understand it's money? Money's a responsibility, and this is like just the facts. I'm not trying to be cold here. You understand? So it's like now it's just like a thing about reason. I'm listening to her talk about generational wealth. Okay, and look, and the reason, I get it, it's for data centers though, Nick. Here's the thing. You and I don't know. You and I don't know. We don't know. You don't know. They were saying when it was for something else back in the day, the world has been developing. The countries have been developing. USA has been developing. People have lost their homes. And it's usually been, at least, I don't know, actually, I don't really know, but I heard they even paid the Indians sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a way of doing things around here. Contracts. The white man's a certain way. Look, shout out. Look, White History Month. I'm just saying. Okay, maybe it wasn't always like that. Okay, there's a limit. Okay, there's a limit, folks. All right, there's a limit to the kindness. But look, data centers. You and I don't know. You and I don't know. The government. Here's what you really are. You're having the wrong fight too, with Georgia Power. Think about what Georgia Power is doing. They're just supporting the grid. You want things to grow. You want things to be better. But what's growing? You're not asking the right questions. What's growing? H-1Bs? Immigrants? Well, it's AI apparently, and on that you don't know. You don't know. There's some sort of technological revolution thing going on, and yeah, maybe a lot of people are using it for dumb things. These dumb Zoomers are using it for dumb things, but also China and like everybody else is also using it too, and they're not backing down. Look, there's things you and I don't know. You're just not asking the right questions about that. Okay, we're gonna get to calls here. Here's another one you didn't think about, but let's not move on too fast. What was she saying here?
Now it's being stripped from us.
Georgia Power estimates 70 to 80% of the power on this new line is expected to help serve data centers, being built in part to support the growing demands of artificial intelligence. It says the remaining 20 to 30% of power will serve the state's growing residential and commercial demand.
All power generation starts somewhere.
Holly Lovett is a Georgia Power spokesperson.
We take into factor our customers, first and foremost. They are at the center of our business and the core of what we do. We want them to be able to have their daily lives, and we take that seriously. It is something needed for survival, and we empathize with these community members who are seeing this growth.
Georgia Power told us that they feel as if they've done this process responsibly. What would you say to that?
I disagree. You can't tear down 35 miles of rural Georgia and it not hurt something or somebody. And to say that you're doing it in the name of data centers is a slap in the face to us, our community, our animals.
Right, like what I said earlier. You know, that was the commentary. We don't know if it was really for no reason. But yeah, why? Like, what's the growth for? You know, it's not just data centers too. But I mean, in this case, it is. But forget that. Look, what was she saying here? That it's because of the data centers. It's a slap in the face, but also the impact itself is a little bit overblown. In her own mind, they can't take your generational wealth. They can't. Like, they don't have that power. Okay, they're just moving you, and that sucks. But they're moving you, and they're paying you for it, and that's just like the facts of what's happening. Okay, so anyways, YIMBY versus NIMBY. You ever heard these terms? Is there anything else about this video? Hold on.
That's why a few months
There's one more thing about the video. Hold on.
ago, Ansley took her story to TikTok.
My childhood home is being taken by Georgia Power.
Like, I mean, do you really want to fight the government? Like, you know.
Videos went viral, and she began sharing stories of others in similar situations, like Cynthia Van Epps.
What is it taking from her? Look behind me.
Look.
It's taking this entire backyard, the pool and everything.
We don't want to move that.
Okay, so I watched this. Is this just like dark of me or something, just cynical, or just like, because I see it, I'm just looking at it, I'm like, I won't call it, here's what it is. This is like a sympathy plea, which again, I'm not against. This is what you do when you're trying to like push something sometimes, and it's fine, you can do it for Christ even. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm like messing around a little bit. Her doing this sympathy plea, like, look at what they're taking our pool, is fine. That's a fine tactic. It's like with your motivation. It's like about the heart, okay? I'm not going to judge that. But I was looking at the tactic a bit, and just think about it like this. A sympathy plea requires others to care and have sympathy. And I'm just like, okay, but this is kind of maybe insane. Because I get that this plea maybe works more for the people around this locale. And maybe they're more like her. But I was just thinking about all the people that have come into the country, and the people that are just different and would never care about this. They would never care about this. And that's the big connection, okay? That's the you know, they wouldn't care, right? It made me think about, James said something about case by case basis. That's a great summary of like this segment here. I think it does matter. And that matters more and more in a changing America because you can't be sure what they really meant. Maybe my scenario is a little insane because this would only matter to their immediate area. But think about it like this. What about decision makers? People who are, what do you call them? Housing development owners and the people that run that stuff. They DEI that stuff all the time. And you get someone that's of a different color and they hate and they have a bend. They have like anything from a hate to like just like a immediate just bend against you. Because this is that atomized America. Okay, maybe a little convoluted, but that's what I thought about.
Videos went viral, and she began sharing stories of others in similar situations, like Cynthia Van Epps.
What is it taking from her? Look behind me. It's taking this entire backyard, the pool and everything.
We don't want to move. That's the bottom line.
Van Epps and her husband raised 4 kids.
Is that their problem?
Here.
18 years, a lot of memories
So
here.
anyways, a little bit about, well, so that's a little bit of the basics. Let me do this part really quick, and then we got some calls to get right into. Have you heard these terms? YIMBY, NIMBY. Okay? YIMBY and NIMBY. Not in my backyard versus yes, in my backyard. These acronyms, or I forget what you call. These are they're to signify these different mentalities, especially when it comes to city planning and politics. Okay, city and just like local politics, because there's all the talk. It's like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, but then there's the actual doing it, and what area it's gonna be in, and where they're gonna put this. Okay. And who it's going to affect, because it's going to affect somebody, right? NIMBY, YIMBY, okay? Not in my backyard. People who oppose new development or infrastructure near their own home, community, but they'll support it in principle somewhere else. Yes, more energy. Yes, more AI, more this or anything. But whoa, not in my backyard. Yes, in my backyard, the opposite movement. People who actively support more development, housing, infrastructure. Now, I don't think it's a clear, like, those guys are better than the others. I don't think it ever is. But, because the YIMBYs will be like, no, for sure, we need more stuff. We need to develop it. It's like, great, these guys are, like, with it. They want to keep things going. But there's a lot of dumb people and dumb ideas. And people feel bad. And so there's some demographics to the NIMBY YIMBY thing that are interesting that have its own inter-conflict play. Now, it's not a clear left-right thing. It's not a clear Republican-Democrat thing. But it is clear amongst age cohorts. The older folks are far more NIMBY than the younger folks. But also younger folks tend to be more left. That's why these are also the ones who are like, happy to bring in Section 8 housing in your area. It's like, dude, wake up, bro. You're ruining it. You're ruining it, dude. You're ruining it. And it's not even love. You're not being a nice guy. You're being a pretty hateful guy. You're like, you have a job. You're like, equality, let's do it up. And then you're saying, actually, but accept those people. Those poor black people. And then it's just like a mess. It's like, you're not loving. You understand this has been going on for decades. It's getting worse. And it's just like, it's just a mess. Please wake up. But yeah, you get the older, so that's you get a bit of that inter-demographic conflict with that. And what else can I say about this? There's just funny things about it. MAGA and data centers is a point, I guess. It's not that important. But I mean, there's a connection there, right? Like Trump advancing things, pushing things, like let's go AI, okay, let's see what that is. Build it, man, let's do it. Okay. Anyways, you ever seen spite houses? There's a whole category of this. I was wondering if there was a term. There is. There's a whole category. You can look up spite houses. And it's people who've had either inter-citizen conflicts or conflicts with the local government or even larger. Spite houses. And let me see if I can find some good images. you know, just like it says, it's like, no, we're going to hold out. We're not giving it up. And they won in some cases, you know. Spite. Spite won, maybe. How do they know if it was spite? I don't know. You know, case by case, right? It's like they you see a lot of these in like what looks like Chinese areas or like Asian places. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know, just build around it, I guess. Like, you could like crash into them or something. That looks wrong. Spite houses. Why do I see a bunch of those in like Asian looking places? like, look, you know, they say that these countries too are like, well, you know, they kind of did it different. Maybe communism and collectivism, the warmth of collectivism. With the warmth of collectivism, like Mamdani says, you know, and found a home over there with these people maybe. I don't know. I see a lot of these spite houses in like the Asian places. You know, it brings up, this whole thing brings up like, what? Like it brings up the whole interplay of nation and individual rights. You know, personally, if you ask me, it's pretty impactful. Like, what's more impactful here? The spite building or spite house, or you getting just moved? I think these spite developments are like pretty impactful compared to you just getting moved. But also, in the grand scheme of things, we're like it's a big old world. It really is a big old world. It's not that impactful. So it's like, it doesn't matter to me. And that's kind of like the other point too. What are you supposed to care about? What are you like, are we supposed to care about everything? Like, at some point, I don't think it's immoral when it's like, okay, it's not happening to me. I would be insane to go around making it a care about those people who got their home taken away because of, look, it's not, right? It's just sanity and society building. If I don't, society may tear apart. There's something about the fabric there. Call me a society simp. A society simp, but I'm enjoying it still somewhat, okay? I don't know. I'm enjoying it somewhat, I guess. I mean, I got some nightmares for you maybe in a second here, but first some calls. Last thing about it, Bruce Beach. You remember Bruce Beach? So here's the story with that one basically is. Okay, Bruce Beach. Where was it? The story goes, I brought it up on the JLP show. We were talking about it briefly. The story goes, essentially, what was it? Early 1900s, Charles and Willa Bruce, a black couple, bought beachfront property in 1912 for about $1,225, American dollars, $1,000, and built one of the few resorts in the area open to black families and visitors during the Jim Crow segregation era. Included a lodge, cafe, 1924, city used eminent domain to seize the land, claiming it was for a public park. They paid the Bruces far less than it was valued, according to Reason.com. I don't know. Around $4, so they were paid. Eminent domain, see, I'm not getting into the weeds of the actual Charles and Willa story, so I'm just going to tell you what it says, but, you know, always have a scrutinizing thing because, first of all, when it concerns racism and black people, they lie about it. They lie a lot about it because you got to get that bend. And number two, from what I understand, eminent domain is like, okay, you're not going to accept the money? Slash, there was never a thing about money, but the government needs this land. And we could either pay you, we could pay you nothing, but we're taking it, okay, because of reasons. And that's why less than 1% of eminent domain cases actually go, because the government's always offering money, at least in the modern era. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but that's why less than 1%, because they're offering money. If they didn't want to take the money, they're like, okay, eminent domain, it's ours. You could have taken the money, right? So that's why I'm like already skeptic on this. If they got paid, but also the city used eminent domain, what's the story? But whatever. They built the park is the story. They built it. Apparently they got paid, not enough, some say. Fast forward to recent years, activism figures by Caven Ward and local officials, Los Angeles County returned the property to the Bruce family's descendants. It was a high-profile ceremony. This was in 2022. I mean, you might remember it being reported on. Blah blah blah. The family actually sold it back to the county for $20 million. And think about that. Generational wealth. I think I saw some of you argue that in the chat. Like Nick doesn't understand generational wealth, but I guess the Bruce family doesn't either, right? Because it's like it's the generational wealth. You want that land. It's like use the money to buy some other land. It's about how you use the wealth and like how you pass it along, including the immaterial things. That's all the generational wealth, right? But the Bruce family is stupid too. Then, huh? They apparently didn't want the land. They sold it back right away. Took the money and it's like right on. I mean, in terms of strategy, I bring it up because why do I bring it up? Because I brought it up earlier. I think this racism thing is a far dumber reason than this is simply my home and I don't want the government taking it. That's actually a way better reason than give us that land because of racism to our family, but they got paid. But anyways, partly what I'm saying is America, it's full of evils. It's full of things that maybe didn't go so well. And we can't turn it around like that. That's not how life works. Okay? There's also a lot of the great things. It all comes together. Stop the hate. White History Month, shout out. But yeah, it all comes together. The eminent domains that happen to whoever, black or not, and everything else. Okay? You can't undo all that. That's insane. Blah, blah, blah. Anything else about this? We got 888-775-3773. I got you guys here. On hold, I want to get to you. We got Norway. I think we're going to Norway here. What else? Okay, let's see what y'all are saying. We got Olave. I think it's Olave, Norway. I appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Hi. Just quickly, did you enjoy the World Cup?
Big time, man. The matches I did get to see, I enjoyed them fully. They were great. I got to see some.
I heard
we all got to really enjoy some of the best players of history play another World Cup. It's kind of a total treat, a total delight. I saw a lot of people close to me enjoy something that I've enjoyed for a long time along with me. So it was a delight all the way.
All right, cool. I was surprised by the United States.
In what way?
You were good.
Yeah, I not trying. No shade. They got favorable matchups, but they did great in those matchups, and they're supposed to get favorable matchups. The host countries always do. It's not cheating. And they upset. Who did they upset? They upset some pretty good teams, and that's what I wanted them to see. I wanted to see them just see who they could send home. I agree, sir. And you're Norwegian, cool, yeah. Huh? Norway, calling from Norway?
Yep.
Shout out. Holland was a delight. I mean, you were watching all. I'm sure you were shouting at Holland.
It was. I remember watching Norway versus Brazil, and someone just right before the first goal, someone bust out the big drum, and they just started drumming. All started rolling, and they just punched it in, and it was cool. But listen, I heard that Norway was big in the U.S. During the World Cup. Norway went really viral.
Holland really carried that this positive PR campaign for Norway here in America. A lot of people like this attitude off the pitch, really. I hadn't really personally seen a lot of games. I had seen his some club performances years ago, and I just knew he's a very interesting player because he gets goals, but he's like lazy in every other stat. So he's super interesting. I haven't really seen him play a lot. It's funny. Someone here described him as kind of a dirty player. I've seen him play a bit. He's really physical. He's pushing people on the ground. But anyways, his attitude off the pitch has really carried that. You're right. People here really like Norway for that reason.
All right, cool. And a funny fact, I actually cheered for Argentina too because it was either way. I didn't really care who really won, but I thought it would be nice if Argentina won because I really like the president of Argentina.
Javier Milei. What's he been up to lately?
I love that guy, man.
Is he doing a good job down there?
Hell yeah, man! Like he's reversing poverty and like, stuff like that. Yeah. He's doing a great job.
That's awesome. I
but
mean, I know
listen-
there was some attention with him, and I think the guy likes Trump a little, to some degree.
Yeah, he's reversed the economy. It's going upwards now because of him. He's been cutting taxes and removing regulations and stuff like that.
Right.
But I just wanna ask
Unleashing
you one-
Argentina. That's cool.
Yeah, but just one quick thing before I hang up. I just wanted to ask you, my little brother, I don't think he's forgiven his parents. I just want to ask you, like, if you were to say something to my little brother, he's 11 years younger, he's about 16 or something like that. What would you say to him? Like, what would you recommend him to do? What would you say in regards to forgiving your mother and stuff like that?
You said he's 16 years old?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Is he angry? You see him as an angry guy? He's like, is mainly what I'm asking, is he is he asking for help?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
So he's asked you for help on this?
Not directly, because I don't really see him that much, but it seems like he wants help, yeah.
Because what you'd say is the truth. You would just say the truth. Like you were just sounded like you were starting to say. It would be no different. You got to forgive. But it's like, it would only make sense if you are seeking that and if you ask for that.
But if
because you would say it, I personally wouldn't say it any other way. I would just say the truth.
All right,
You have to forgive. That's what the source of your anger. That's what's coming. That you are wrong for that, and not them.
Yeah. All right, cool. But
meaning the person who has anger. You were saying?
No, I've actually told him that once before. But if you were to give him some advice yourself, what would you give him?
Yeah, it would be the same thing. It would be no different because that is the truth. It has nothing to do with them accepting it. And if they're not accepting it, it's probably maybe they didn't ask for that kind of help, you know? And if they did and they're not receiving it, that doesn't change. I just see it the same way, man. If that's what you told them, oh, you got to forgive, you're wrong for the anger. That's not their fault. You're the one with the anger. You're the one holding on to it. You're the one that has to forgive. And if that didn't hit, there's not how else are you going to say the truth, you know? You think it's going to work in a different way? Let me be clever. Let me be clever with the truth. I disagree.
No, but you know, you might appreciate some advice from the big boys.
I understand your.
And by the way,
I understand your approach or why you're asking, but the answer remains the same. To be honest, don't you agree? The truth is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, but I actually want to tell. I remember tuning in. You actually look. It's like you look different. This time around, it's like you look a lot more relaxed.
Oh, nice.
Since a couple months ago.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, man, you look.
I didn't notice.
You look like you kind of look like Jesse.
Let's go. So I'm.
Yeah.
Do I look like? Am I blacker? Blacker, smoother, and blacker in my
hopefully
demeanor.
Not.
You say
no,
hopefully
listen,
not. We're just going to leave that on the table. We're not even going to touch that.
I'm just playing. All right. But listen, all right, cool, man. Thanks for the
Shout
advice
out, man.
and,
Norway. Right on. I appreciate your call.
Yeah. All right, cool. You have a good one, all right?
Take it easy. Call me again, man.
All right. Thank you, man.
888-775-3773. Norway, are they somewhat diverse in Norway? Are they Vikings like Holland? Because that actually happened. Like, I know this is dumb. But it's like, yeah, Nick, like, duh, like Vikings existed. But like, I'm just saying, like, they existed. Like the reason these Scandinavian countries and they're bored, it's like they came down, they fought things, like there was wars, and these people were like Vikings, and they wrote about them. Okay, duh. There's Wikipedia articles on it, Nick. Okay, sorry. Medieval times kick. Okay, I want to get to John out of Houston, Texas. How you doing, John? I got you on the air. Happy White
Hi,
History
Nick.
Month.
Good. Happy White History Month to you.
Right on.
Gosh, it just went right by, Nick. How did I let it go by so fast?
You saying you let White History Month go by really fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just goes quick. Twinkling of an eye. You gotta enjoy what you got. You gotta enjoy the moment you have right now. It's White History Month, guys. John's right.
Yeah, well, maybe next time, things will be different where it just doesn't go by so fast. I've been hanging out with white people, but...
Nice.
Hey, so I had this idea, and what if the AI data centers, the resources used to make the data centers, like makes other things like computers and gaming consoles. What if those become robots instead? So we don't own computers and we don't own gaming consoles, and we get robots instead. AI robots that do both of those things, but we don't own the robots. The robots are licensed. So the robots, we buy the robots, we buy the license for the robot, but we can't hack into them, and then the internet becomes privatized. Well, not tech, mate. Hey,
dog being bad.
Well, I'm in a tree right now.
Like in a tree.
I'm in a tree in my front yard.
You mean like you climbed onto the tree?
Yeah, for White History Month.
Yeah, I mean it's because you can make the case.
You know what I did for White History Month? I mowed my lawn.
Yep.
Hey,
that'll do. Okay, you bring up something quite interesting, to be honest, and it's that you actually do bring up something pretty interesting. And yeah, that's all. First of all, that's already happening. The AI is already causing the costs of computer chips, RAM, and then going down the chain, devices and otherwise more expensive, and by a lot. It's already doing that, right? And so, following certain trends, if you start putting together some of these trends, some that you brought, some others that haven't been brought up, you kind of put together maybe a picture of a coming world. And it's like, before I describe it further, I think this is the more interesting part. This is the more interesting aspect of the so-called affordability conversation, or Gen Z versus boomers conversation, if I may. It's like,
it's a world built on top of this world.
Well, put it like this clearly. As AI is making these things more expensive, personal computing, you can see it maybe becoming a thing of the past. You don't own any of the chips. You don't own any of the computers. Your environment provides it, or you're just provided to it. You're provided it in a more of a rented economy, which is not far-fetched considering all the other things that are becoming part of this renting living. You'll own nothing and be happy is the most extreme phrasing of that whole thinking. But there is a lot of metrics that back it up in terms of how the world is changing. And I know the Gen Z and boomers are fighting over this. I think that's the more boring part of the conversation, which is like, who do they see it or not? Who's right? Is the Gen Z right? And are the boomers wrong? And should they feel bad or not? No, because as they're debating this, the world is changing.
The boomers.
Yeah, have you heard of this debate between the Gen Z and the boomers about affordability and how hard it is to live, and do the Gen Z have anything to complain about or not? Are you familiar with this rift?
I'm familiar with like not owning physical games anymore, PS5.
Well, it's worse than that, right? They're saying you can't own homes now. You're going to have to rent homes. You'll never own one. And there's metrics saying that is a huge shift happening underway, right? you'll own nothing and be happy. So what you're bringing up is the same thing. As AI makes these things more expensive and less accessible, like as an individual, you really will own nothing, including the home, including computing itself. Computing will just be metered out to you. Are you understanding?
Well, that's not. When I say that the world will be built on top of this world, because I think you'll be able to buy the parts and build it yourself, a computer.
That's the
and then
point,
you'll be
though.
able to
It's
go
AI
onto the
making
internet.
it too expensive to do so. Adding
It
to
will
this,
be
adding to
expensive,
this
but you can
concern
do
that
it.
you brought up.
You'll have to do it at home. It'll be a DIY.
Right, but if the chips themselves are very expensive and become rare to own individually, that makes what you're saying harder, right? Adding to the more dystopia scenario that you were kind of bringing up of you'll own nothing and you'll have to rent
but the
everything.
money, the gaming companies, I'm thinking that they'll see that ahead of time and invest into AI and invest into the robot playing the games for you. So the robot will be a gaming console.
It'll be right. I see. Interesting scenario, sir, John.
But I know, like, yeah, I have heard that people are being crabby because, like, they don't want to participate in this economy because boomers got to get away with everything. Or I'm trying to stretch my brain here. Like, the boomers got to, like, do. I can't stretch my brain, but you know what I'm saying.
Don't hurt yourself. I don't know. I don't know. Don't worry about it.
They're saying, like, the boomers got to, like, the boomers just went from point A to point Z or something like that. You know, like.
Yes, and they resent that.
And yes,
they resent that. Yeah.
I can't think of any good example, but. Anyway, I was just calling about.
That's pretty good,
this.
actually. That's pretty good. Yeah, they went from like point A to point B in their minds, that they see it as a much simpler transition, just A to B, and they resent that. That's not too bad. I like that. That's pretty darn good. John, call me again, man.
Okay, thanks.
888-775-3773. Now, not a segment from today, but we were kind of teasing it, kind of talking about it, poking around about this. Affordability, Gen Z. I've been kind of mulling some things here. But so it's not like a segment from today, but put it like this. The more interesting aspect is the actual way the world is changing. Because if you wanted to advise, let's say, a generation, because here's the thing. The core is people have lived through all sorts of things. There's no, to think that you should have had it like someone else before you is a folly, and there's a way to just survive in a different way, and maybe that means like big paradigm shifts, like you actually don't get certain things, but guess what, your whole generation does get it, so don't be too mad about it. Time to play with the new rules and level up, stack your resources and be smart, right? And there's a whole, so I'm working on something on that, because there's like some real ways that the world is changing. But that's like for everyone. So get used to the new rules, and you can complain about it because it's wrong, maybe. But whatever, that's like a different argument. You understand what I'm saying here? The whole framing of Gen Z versus Boomer, and it's just like who's wrong and who should feel bad is just resentment world. And that is the incoming world of politics. As midterms are coming, and as Trump, MAGA wanes and all that, JD and the new people, resentment politics is going to be the whole thing. It's which group and their resentment is stronger. It's going to maybe suck. And that's kind of more of a dark take. We don't know what's going to happen, but so anyways, that's just how I'm thinking about all that. You understand? I think that's more important. More interesting is that as you're debating that, there is a way the world is changing. And in a way that the younger people, it's not for the older people, but that's not, but the resentment part is the wrong way of looking at it. It's like game theory. Adapt to the new rule set, dominate the new rule set, affect the new rule set, right? Right. Adapt to the new rule set, grow in it, and then maybe affect the new rule set. Okay. Speaking about rule sets, they plan on different rules, man. It's crazy. And I know that sounds like racism, like, oh, what's this? You were just saying, don't worry about that. But I'm saying, on paper, there's full-on different rule sets for different people. You heard about it in the UK. These Sikhs could have daggers. Well, it's been like that in Canada. I've been knowing that. I had buddies in school with daggers, and they would show me their daggers. They're like, I'm allowed to have this because it is my religious right. And then it's true. You look it up, and it's in the Canadian Charter of Human Rights, and there's legal precedent because they fought this, and cops came, and then they went to the court. These are militant people sometimes with their religious attitudes, and Canada has just had to acquiesce and just accommodate. That's what they do. So accommodating. That's probably why they mesh and out of a hard beginning, separating from the European mothership, England, becoming the seed of a grand free nation that would come up later through hardship in this new world. I bet you this accommodating nature was probably pretty useful, probably well before even the creation of Canada. But it was probably pretty useful, the warmth of collectivism. Not to taint what I'm saying here, but it's probably part of why these nations became so great. When I look at these other places, like the Latin American nations, the African nations, the Chinese nation maybe, I don't know. They have a problem there where it's like a rift. Some people get it and others are like the very hard to deal with rural Chinese. But look, what I'm saying is they don't really have this working together. Like it's very cutthroat. So, call it a hijacking of their being so accommodating. So I'm stretching this out, my bad. I'm talking about this Sikh story in Canada. So what happened? Ontario man brings his kirpan to Windsor, Ontario, Good Life Fitness Gym. Kirpan. Is there footage of this guy?
So you're
racially singled out. They singled me out racially. He's like working out with a dagger. Apparently, staff cited concerns in a public workout space with bladed objects. Gurpratap Singh Khalsa recorded the interaction, called it a racial religious discrimination, argued it was a protected article of faith, not a weapon. Good Life Fitness responded with a public apology, stating the employee didn't follow company policy or Canadian law. That's the thing here. They reaffirmed that kirpans are accommodated under Ontario Human Rights Code and Canadian law. Reports indicate the employee was fired, though the company hasn't publicly confirmed details by name. This sparked backlash, boycott calls, debate over safety, religious rights. Is this the guy? Alleged video of the guy? Racially singled out.
I'm going to take this religious symbol and kill somebody. So you're kicking me out of the gym right now. Wait, you're kicking me out of the gym right now because you are scared that I'm going to take my religious symbol. So look
how scary he's being.
I'm going to take
if this is him,
religious symbol and kill somebody.
What I'm saying is you have a weapon on your person.
What a scary person. I'm not safe around this either. Look how he's coming up. So what you're saying,
brought it to my attention.
No part of him understanding, like, okay, you know what, I'll put it away. No part of him understanding, like, no, this is actually the law, miss, you're wrong. But you know what, I'll put it away. I don't really need to have it. I'm working out. Well, like, you're telling me your God is so, like, is gonna kill you. Your God is not gonna let you into heaven because you're not gonna have your kirpan with you. I guess we're just debating gods here. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, bro. Like, talk to your God here. But why does Why we're not? You don't even have to get religious. We're talking just like semblance of normalcy. You think this lady? You think what's more likely? This lady is like just a little afraid, or I hate this Sikh guy. I hate these people. Even what I'm saying, as I'm saying it, though, I don't even believe it because that's changing. The world is atomizing. They're seeing Henry Nowak. They're seeing these stories. They're seeing Sikh guy walks around. Oh, it's my religious right is the killer of a person who didn't deserve it. They're seeing that, so all that's changing, man. It's like not, and I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying like the world's getting darker.
For the safety of me and everybody else in the gym, I'm asking you to leave.
But, well, I don't understand, though. I don't understand.
We're
I don't understand.
Gym, we're allowed
No understanding in him. You understand?
deny access, and you're not allowed to.
But you
Like
allowed
not even a shred. It's
me in
just instant religious, racial
you
singling out.
allowed me in the gym with the sun. Oh, you didn't see it. So you didn't see it.
No,
So what were
She's
you
telling you she didn't see it. It's not a fair, not a good enough explanation. Not a shred of understanding.
doing then? So what do you do? So what do they pay you for?
I'm not responding.
You didn't see me walking with this?
This is so
I'm not harassing
aggressive.
you.
This is so
I'm
aggressive.
standing right here. I'm not harassing
Even
you.
now, if there was no dagger involved, this is too aggressive. This is way too aggressive.
This
Wait
is
for the police officer.
this is like it's insane.
Brandon Gomez. When was this posted? Is this even the story? Brandon Gomez. 2 days ago. I mean that accent. I mean it sounds like people from like Ontario. It sounds like Ontario brown people, and brown up in Canada means like Indian, Pakistani, like Sikh, all that. I know in America brown is Mexican, Latino. And so just doing a little translation for you there. Little translation. I thought Sikhs were peaceful. Now they're getting crazy. In the olden days, no young men were Sikh nor liberal. I think that's what's going on. I don't know. Kirpan. I always saw Sikhs as different because I see these, I guess maybe Sikh kind of splits in a lot of things because what are the Khalistani? The Khalistanis are like, again, Hindu related, like Sikh. They carry the daggers too, and I think they just call themselves Sikh. But they're usually I knew a lot of those people in school, and they wear they look more Punjabi because they wear these bigger turbans, the colorful ones. They listen to the Punjabi music. They also have kirpan, so because I've met like Tamil Sikhs, like they're very brown, very small, and they don't have all the all this stuff. So sometimes the girls have all this stuff. But anyways, I'm culturally enriched / traumatized. I'm trying to help. But what are they? Yeah, I've seen there's and very, very dark and little. But you might be like, oh, that's a Punjabi. He doesn't have a kirpan, but he does. I'm trying to help you. You're like, that's a Punjabi. You're like, I don't know any of these people, Nick. You're like, you're thinking that's a Punjabi, and you're like, that guy doesn't have a kirpan. I'm like, no, bro, he has a kirpan, bro. I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Anyways. Now you start making sense of like racist. Why would I ever be racist? You're like growing up, you're like little. Like why would anybody ever be racist? Why would my grandpa ever be racist? He's like, you're like listening to this now, you're like Punjabi. I'm trying to make sense of it. Who has the dagger, Nick? Who has the dagger? You know what? They all have the dagger. I'm done with this. They all have the dagger. Okay. Anyways. Just riffing here. What's next? What do we got for you here? 888-775-3773. Thanks for your super chats, your coffees. What's up? buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. My people here. What's up, Jules? How you been? What you been saying? I haven't seen. We got Hake Report here. Over there on rumble.com/AmericanAnchorBaby. Ask me if I care about data centers. People never like my answer. I think I'm the only one who doesn't care. I'm not sure what people expected was going to happen. I mean, this was a long time coming. It's not like you could have known. You could have. But now all of a sudden people care. It's a fine reason, but when you look at your home as generational wealth, like that woman said on JLP clip, then you're already messing up. It wasn't a flipping mansion. It was a normal middle-class home, which are overvalued right now. So if your wealth is in your home, you will lose money in the future. I think home prices will get more expensive if we deport millions of people, or they will go down in value. Yeah, they'll go down. Not saying we'll deport millions even, but it's something to be aware of, and that sentimental attachment has probably already lost her money. This is what I'm saying a little bit, Jules, because in this, like, as the rule set changes, liquid money becomes kind of an asset, becomes a thing where you're like, I can stick and move here. I can stick and move here. And it's like, what's its dollars? But I live here, man. It's the only dollars I have. It's the country I live in. I'm not going anywhere. And so, you know, I'm sticking and moving here. The rule sets are changing. Okay? I bet they offered more than market value. They do, in fact. I don't know if they did with them specifically, but if there's one thing you could do if you're going to fight the government that strongly, do it because you want a better price. They say, no. It's like, yeah, maybe offer us more. Okay, yeah, that's a good price. No, we'll go. My bad. We're done. Thank you. Like, if you're going to fight the government, it's because you want a better price. How about that? They've been doing it for generations. Yours is a home built recently, not a farm. I'd be demanding I get at least that amount, right? Like more market value. All I know is you ain't going to stop the data centers. Thank you. Some reason here. Okay. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Thanks for all the super chats too there. YouTube, we got Jermaine. Buymeacoffee.com/Anchor Baby. He was saying something here. So we were speaking, I think we were speaking about this. I forget what the anime was about. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this is what this coffee's about. I forget the name of the anime. Oh, it's probably right here. He's sunk his teeth in this anime, and they got, sometimes these animes got good concepts, like make you think about the world a little bit. And he's like, sorry, Nick, I forgot to mention that this speech was directed at her colonel after they believed they had won the war. But Tanya realized that although the empire had destroyed the communist regime, the war wasn't truly over. Some of the surviving ordinary citizens escaped and went to the empire's other enemies, joining forces with them to fight the capitalist empire. Okay, spoiler alert, apparently. If you're going to watch that anime, the irony is that the higher-ups were so intelligent and logical they missed what was true reality. They believed defeating the enemy meant the war was over, but Tanya understood that destroying an army doesn't destroy the hatred left behind. As long as the survivors still carried hatred toward the empire, the hatred would eventually grow into another war. She was explaining they only thought they had won, but in reality they hadn't. The survivors would become the next problem because they would seek revenge, unite with the empire's enemies, and continue the conflict. From Tanya's point of view, if they wanted the war to truly end, they would have to eliminate every single survivor because otherwise the cycle of hatred and revenge would simply begin again. This is like in the Bible. You know, you just sometimes don't expect such dark and sometimes maybe even horrific concepts coming from cute little anime girls in general costumes or something, you know. But I got you there, Jermaine. Thanks. Yeah, I think that's in the Bible. I think God told some people to, like, eradicate some other people. Didn't that happen in the Bible? And I'm talking about, like, leave nobody. I might be making that up. Did God ever tell certain people to eradicate another people in the Bible? Probably Old Testament, right? Probably, yes. According to the Bible, primarily the Old Testament, God issues commands to the Israelites to completely destroy or eradicate certain specific people or groups. Entering the promised land, executing divine judgment, the Canaanite nations, Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites. They're gone now, I guess. Israelites got rid of them. God commands, in the cities of the nation the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, do not leave alive anything that breathes. Oh, completely destroy them. The Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites, as the Lord your God has commanded you. These commands are tied to the conquest under Joshua. The Amalekites, God tells King Saul through Samuel, now go, attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. Look, you just wouldn't have the stomach for the blossoming world. The blossoming world as it was. And what sometimes had to be done, or what they believed just had to be done. This is my retcon. This is my own, call it satanic, call it a heresy. But I don't know. I just have this view of the Old Testament, like, it all has its place. It all has its, like, place. Because at some point, respected people of that time wrote it. But, you know, a lot of time passes. And so you have these, like, old stories and rules for, like, when the world was a certain way. And I don't know, maybe God was involved. Everybody says God was involved. It seems like every race and every people says that God was involved. And maybe God was involved in all their stories and how they say he was involved in some way. Maybe not in every way they say. And then Jesus came. And it was like, you're all getting God wrong. It's like inside. But anyways, that's kind of a romantic view of it. And a very crude, maybe a very, 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 maybe romantic and crude summary. But sometimes I see it like that. Like, you know, it's like everybody was writing about God. Not everybody. And a lot of things that people wrote back then were rejected. And it seems like, oh, maybe it was only certain classes. That's why Jesus had a problem with these what's it called? Priestly classes. You know, they held a certain power maybe over the so-called truth, but everybody, they all had something to say about it. And it had a lot to do with them, like their actual life, physical life / inner life. But like, you know, it's when you read Deuteronomy and all these rules, it's like, it's almost a little foreign to you because this is the law of the land. They're describing the law of the land. I know it's God, I guess, but that's how I take it. It just reads to me like heavy. We're building society here, and we got to get people to agree to these rules. And then Jesus came. And it's like, it's all on its head. It's like, you know, you've heard about love. You've heard about being perfect. You've heard about God. But what is that actually? What is going on inside you? Anyways, that's kind of my romantic summary of that, how I see it anyways. And especially just how brutal God is in the Old Testament. Stuff I've thought about. These people, what are y'all saying here? Yep. So anyways, Christian. What else do I have for you here? You'll own nothing. We were kind of dealing with that, but not really a segment for now. Just kind of things changing. But I was the other things I was seeing in the news is midterms are coming up, and I guess they're out there making a stink, drumming things up. And you know, there's plenty to like consider in terms of like what I've sort of brought up already, like maybe a bit of the Georgia Power thing, the Sikh Canada thing, because it's like, what are you mad at versus what's actually changing, and where's your attention? Oh, they're increasing power because power consumption is increasing. Great. What's the reason? Don't be mad at Georgia Power. What are the things that are actually changing? And AI is one, but the demographics of the country is another. And who is sometimes complicit, despite outwardly calling it conservative. We got to do things to close up the border. Demographics. It's the right wing. It's really, I'm thinking the Republican Party, either through being fooled by politicians and political operatives, or just, you know, and just the voting class just going along with it. They're kind of complicit with it too, right? Maybe the Sikh story and immigration comes back to mind. And there's a lot of like, what's it called? Internal strife, no energy, branch broken off from God, rotting away. Where do you get it? I don't know. I need more sleep or something. Actually, that's usually good. A lot of people are like, oh man, I got issues. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take coffee. I'm going to start taking male strengthening hormone power pills. You see these things. And then you ask them simple questions like, how much do you sleep every night? Oh yeah, no, I get terrible sleep. I get sleep every night. And they're like even like proud of it, which is fine. It's true. Sleep is not that important. It's a toll, but it's a toll you could take. It's a toll you could take. You can like be a man about it, achieve some things, do some stuff, not sleep. But you know, it's like a total side note here. Apologies, big detour, but on sleeping, people say they need sleep. But where was I? Sleep. This midterm thing here. I'm seeing them. I'm seeing them. You know, I'm describing the internal strife on the right. MAGA, tired, no energy, kind of like, oh man, I'm mad about the war thing. I don't know. I'm not getting what I voted for. They're not going door to door, deporting everybody right now. Which I think is a little bit overblown. You're maybe like mad about Epstein. Not a thing to be. We've been over it a bit. But look, there's this strife, but there really is nothing else. It's like these people are. All you get on the other side is just, we're just going to devour America. We're going to devour America. We're going to cannibalize white people. They don't even say it like that. I know I'm being a little hyperbolic. But it's just rabid, no thinking, just like consume, destroy whatever's left here. I'm seeing they're getting ready for the midterm stuff, right? And it really is a lot of the same. And it's just this old trick with the races. It's like there's no. It's a little black pilling because I'm thinking sometimes I see bellwethers of this or that, maybe black people or otherwise. Like, you know what? It's not like it was yesterday. They're not eating the same okie doke or whatever. And then I think, you know, this stuff has been going on for decades, and I'm really just catching up. In a lot of ways, we're just catching up to things, and we're outraged, but we're silly, outraged people who are just catching up, and we're wrong because we didn't know how things really work. And I don't know, this thing, they throw this race thing, and I don't know, she does accents, I guess, AOC. I don't know if it's even the accent that works or not, but they're going around. She's doing this thing they call it pulling up with the South, and how, I forget who she was even naming, but I have to imagine it's like the North. She was naming some states, and they're supposed to, like, what, work together? You know what I learned recently? On this old American tradition. Where do we place the black pawn figures? You know, like, how do we place them now? How do we place them in this election? How do we... And you know what I learned about this one? On one of those little facts that might challenge maybe notions. I mean, you hear about the North and the South. Right? It's like, what is it? North, I guess, what? They were against the South, so, right, Civil War, so that means against slavery, right? Okay, I heard about sundown towns over the years. I think I learned about them on just being here at Bond. Maybe just through Maze, honestly. I didn't even know they existed before. Where did I put all my info on this? Oh, wait, I think I know where I put this. Like, first of all, I didn't even know they existed. Okay, how do I search it up? Maybe I can just search. Sundown towns. Come on, where is it? I bet you I know how to find it. Just use the search function. Yeah, I think I learned about them through y'all, through Maze, watching the Bond Network. A sundown town, a municipality, suburb, or even county that deliberately excluded non-white people, primarily African Americans, but sometimes Chinese, Jews, Mexicans, Native Americans, or others. You've heard of these. Where is it? Now I need the graphic. Okay. How about a cursory grok search? Yes, it's largely true. And that's just a cursory grok search, but I had this post on X. It was a great little post with some references and data. I mean, you might have found it interesting, but even a cursory grok search, use it how you like, is like, yes, it's largely true. Why are they mostly in the north? So the post was saying that sundown towns were mostly in the north. What if I just search sundown north? That sundown towns were look, there it is. Look at that. You get some like impressions maybe. Sundown towns, I bet you, what was life like back then, huh? You're going down some town in the south, right? You're in Georgia or whatever. And it's like, must have been hard. The sun going down and you start sweating. You're like, I'm black. It's hard being a black man in the south. And apparently they're like in the north. Sundown towns, this is like the joke caption. Sundown towns were yet another example of the South channeling its racist Confederate roots. Meanwhile, reality. Now this the outlined green, like it looks like there's clearly sundown towns in the South, but look at this like dense packing the moment you come out of the South. I've heard an expression, and you guys gotta let me know if it's one that you've heard too. Something along the lines of the South is racist. What is it? It's racist on paper, but not racist in reality. In the North is not racist on paper and racist in reality. Something like that. A similar expression or notion. I don't know if you've heard of a similar thing, but is this evidence? Like, no, we need to free them, and we don't want them around us. Whoa, hold on. What do you mean? Have them around us? Meanwhile, the Southerners were more like, no. Like you can't. Black people, they're a certain way, and you can't trust a certain kind of black person. All that, but they'll live around you if you act right. They just have stipulations of how you act, but they'll live around you. Like they're not gonna have this. Are you kind of getting what I'm saying here? Like I'm kind of stumbling through it, but it's like right. They didn't have those rules, so it's like yeah, we'll live around you. And our thing is about like your behavior, the way we are. Racism doesn't exist, Nick. No isms. Absolutely. I don't even believe in such a thing. But in terms of how they use that word, and those most likely to use it, and how like the so-called racist is someone you could trust more. In terms of them being honest, so to speak, in other ways. The so-called racist, you're supposed to be so against this guy, this Southern guy who's being honest, says things like, as opposed to this other person who wouldn't even say black. What do you mean? I don't see color. I don't see color. We freed them years ago. I don't see color. It's a little bit, I'm stumbling through here a little bit, but I think it's something there. Sundown towns, I mean, it's like a classic thing. It just keeps coming up. Another election cycle, AOC, You know, they'll do this thing. And it's like, it's a power thing, right? We need to elect people and get a majority in the House. But it's who? This Abdul, where did I put that? AOC, where did I put all that? I mean, the people they support, it's increasingly, now they're talking about it. Now they're saying Democratic Socialists. They're calling them, they're now open about it now. And they're making, like, they're ringing some alarms a little bit. They're really just kind of, like Jesse was saying, they're just bitching about it. They're really just, but they're making some stink about it now. They're saying, they're using the socialism word. And I get it. It's like, okay, this is supposed to be so dumb, right? Look at her use these accents, but it is working. And it's not because she's so smart. You're not seeing it, Nick. You're not seeing it, Jesse. You think it's silly, but it's working. The votes are changing in certain areas. Yeah, because demographics are changing. Yeah, because it's a race war. Because it's like politics is like a resentment race war, especially increasingly. So that's the part you're supposed to not be so glib or what's the word? Underestimate so much.
Represents
as silly as whatever. Oh, she's sounding black. So dumb.
Politics of the
future.
And if we want to not only win,
but this Abdul guy, I mean, was it this guy? Abdul El Sayed, Michigan Democrat, supports abolishing ICE. Yeah, this was the guy. Calls it a paramilitary force. Like, you have this thing on like MAGA or something, and it's like, see the changing rule set and affect it, because this is what you got. Abolish ICE, paramilitary force. It's just like off the deep end. Self-serving, because they're fine. These people are fine. These people are set. They got money.
a Senate majority.
They got generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? And you're like mad about, man, this house I grew up in.
A majority that actually means.
And maybe you're voting. And meanwhile, like, how do those girls vote? I wonder. That single mom household. I wonder how that single mom household votes. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a single mom. And it's like, I wonder how that single mom household votes. We're going to protest. This is the man coming after us. This is Elon Musk, Trump's data centers. This is Elon Musk, Trump's. Now I'm really added to it, okay? You see how evil. I'm sorry. This is Elon Musk data centers. You know, you got to wonder how they vote, right? Like, we have something to say about Elon Musk data centers. And you're like, yeah, you know what? This is the wedge we need because, I don't know, Israel. I don't think you really got it. I think you have to be a little humble that you didn't quite understand how the world worked. I got something about that hopefully we can get into.
Majority that actually changes something. Win a majority that when we have it, all we hear are excuses. But when Republicans have it, everything seems...
Well, she doesn't say... I don't think she says that he's an abolisher of ICE here, but... Yeah, Abdul for Senate. Like, new ad, abolish ICE. AbdulForSenate.com. Okay, so let this load. That's where I'm getting this from. So hold on. I mean, the URL says AbdulForSenate.com. Will it load? Today, Abdul El Sayed's campaign released a new ad, abolish ICE. So they're not. It's like, that's from them. Okay, that's from them. That's where I'm getting that from. Yeah, radicalism. But there was a couple of things about this, right? Midterms coming up, all this stuff talking. An old story using race, and it's like they never loved these black people. They'll say it, I think, either way. That's kind of why. I mean, I found it kind of related to like Sundown Town thing. Love versus being like a, I don't know, a pragmatic voting element. I don't know. That sounds a little bit un-American, maybe, if I may be so bold. I don't know. I guess you should look for yourself out. I mean, whites should do it. Every other race does it. But is that what politics is becoming? I don't know. Anyways, James Tallarico. I mean, they're doing this. they're trying to make it happen, right? They're trying to get whatever edge they can. Couple seats here. Now you got majorities. Midterms coming up and all that. James Tallarico facing visible negativity from black voters and activists. Apparently. He was getting yelled at, right? Black people don't trust you for this reason. He was getting confronted by BLM. But this guy's like, I don't know, he's strange. He's like progressive, kind of Christian. Isn't he the guy that's been like talking about Jesus and Christianity? I mean, my bad. Isn't he that preacher? Isn't Tallarico that preacher? Progressive preacher. I could be getting him wrong. Hold on. Yeah, Presbyterian seminarian. Not a fully ordained preacher pastor, according to Grok. Washington Examiner says he's pursuing a Master of Divinity. And I've seen him do some preaching. And it definitely rubs a lot of regular Christians the wrong way. James Tallarico struggling with black Texans. His blasphemy and antichrist rhetoric, a tough pill to swallow, according to this post, for Christians of all colors, but the black community in particular. I don't know. It's just funny because I guess it's supposed to come off as particularly Christian, but I mean, they do a lot of wrong things in the name of Jesus. What's he getting here? I didn't even see this. I haven't even seen this, to be honest. What kind of hate is he even getting here? Like, I'm not. Like, why are they mad at him?
So you stay here, you answer our questions, or you suffer the consequences.
So I'm happy to engage. We'll come to here in just a second. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you traveling in, and I appreciate you.
For my people, not for you.
For my people, not for you. It's a black thing. And I'm remembering, actually. I think I know what this is about. I'll let this play. My bad. I don't have the info here remembering because it's not like something I really want to report on, but we're here, and I'm actually remembering. Something happened between him and Jasmine Crockett, right? So, hold on.
Stay here.
Let's just let it play. Since
you answer our questions, or you suffer the consequences.
Suffer the consequence. You answer our questions, or you suffer the consequence. I'm doing this for my people. Okay, I know we're jumping in the middle, but I'm trying to help the people who are maybe a little slower on the uptake.
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
We'll come to here in just a second. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you traveling in, and I appreciate you.
For my people, not for you.
Wonderful. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful. And
ticked.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
It's all right. It's all right.
This is what this conversation's supposed to be about.
How will James Tallarico handle the blacks and being, I don't know, governing?
So one.
Okay, we don't really get anything from this, but I am remembering. I had to kind of look something up here. Okay, because I remember this article, Texas Tribune. Unease about Tallarico's black support. Okay, where was it? Because essentially, Tallarico defeated Crockett. So that's how it went. It was 2020. It was this Democratic primary, March Democratic primary, and I forget exactly if Crockett, if she was up for re-election or not. Because what was she? She was because Crockett was running for what Tallarico's running for, Senate. But she was in the House of Representatives, I think. And she basically decided not to run for re-election, to run for Senate. But, you got to get past the yes, so she was a representative. I forget if she had to give it up and it was like a thing about, I'm going to go for it. And if it didn't work out for her, it's like, okay, well, there goes the Senate and the House. But besides that, she did lose that primary. And polls showed him with very low support, this Texas Tribune article says, among black voters who heavily backed Crockett. So, of course, they liked Crockett. I mean, she's black. That's how it is a lot of the time with black voters. Some of her supporters accused his campaign backers of racism or entitlement. Of course, the racism starts coming out for downplaying identity politics or calling Crockett less electable. Apparently, allegedly, he may have said that. It's like, what, because she's black? What, because she's black? New York Times reports on the mediocre black man controversy. A black influencer accused Tallarico of privately calling former Representative Colin Allred a mediocre black man. I don't know who that is. While praising Crockett, Allred publicly blasted him. Tallarico denied it was racial, saying it was about Allred's campaigning style. So he didn't deny saying he was a mediocre black man, invoking his... Wait, hold on. Wait. Based James Tallarico? Like, yeah, call him a mediocre black man. That's not racism. It was because of racism. Tallarico denied it was racial, saying it was about Allred's campaigning style. Ongoing Democratic concerns, party figures have noted black voter disillusionment with Tallarico. I mean, I hate to just quickly brush this, right? Paint this. It shows very little, call it social capital, or what's the word I'm looking for? Good favor. So I have to think about something else. Good favor that blacks may have. But it's like, are you guys just mad that the black person didn't win? You know, it's like, you're going to listen to us. No man is good, all is mediocre, says Carver. Deep. Thanks for the super chats and all that. I see y'all. Thank you. Anyways, that's pretty much it with that, I think. That's pretty much it. I mean, the midterms are coming up, and they're thinking about it. They're talking about it. Socialists are coming in. We can't let the communists. We can't let the socialists. I know they're mad about... Okay, so apparently... Now I know even less about this. But they're mad about Hassan Piker. No. I know he's been... I know he's always like... Oh, he's always got... So he's always siding with... He's just... People got to bend to them, right? It's sometimes it's about judgment, but sometimes it's not even so much about judgment, but just like patterns. And you can even leave your judgment out of it, even if you have it, but you just know that people maybe bend a certain way. It's like you're always siding with, well, you always got to side with the ugly. This is my opinion. The ugly, the communist, the resentful. It's like, well, you always got to side against the great, the clearly hated for, and they may have their flaws, but clearly hated for because of how effective and how much they rub people the wrong way. They're effective. Trump. Think about many people here. I see people like Hassan Piker. It's like, why? You always got this bend to it. It's like, that's really the only thing. If I judged anything else, my bad. But I'm just like, I notice. It's like, why you always got to go with the third world, hating the white, hating America, your home. Isn't he born here? Hassan Piker. Born where? Where was he born? New Brunswick, New Jersey. It's like these people born here, and they're going around acting like communists. And it's like, do I really know Mao Zedong? He's getting a lot of hate right now. Because he was, I guess, what was it? He did a speech looking like Mao. I'm like, this is what he wore? It looks kind of silly on him, but maybe it would have looked hard. Maybe it's like, would have looked hard with Mao Zedong. No more. And from what I know, that guy, back in the day, spoke to the workers. I think what he wore probably appealed to the workers. So I don't know. It probably has like a tradition and meaning to it. So again, do I know what he was saying? I don't know. But apparently he was an invited guest of college Democrats. Dressed like Mao. It's what's really rubbing people the wrong way. And I don't blame them, too, because there's even like Democrats that are coming out and saying, no, my party's going weird and I don't like it. Like even this lady here looks like it. It says Shannon Watts. She's like, our party having a normal one, which is like millennial, I think, for they're not being normal at all, in fact. New York Times bestseller, I guess. Moms demand action. I guess she's a Democrat. I don't know. You know, people are having their own internal struggles with the Democrats. They don't like them acting like Mao, speaking well of Mao, I guess. My thing is less about Mao, though, because what about right now? Forget about Mao. What about now? Why do you hate your home now? And then you go to this like communist stuff and all this like grievance and colonialism and Mao Zedong. It's like, you're not a real person. You have money and you're insulated and you're not being real right now. You're not being real right now. What rights? What human rights are being? Who's being hurt in America? Who's living terribly in America when their human rights being taken? Be straight up. And I get that there are also other rifts happening amongst the left. It's not all so easily. It's not so easy to describe. Like, it's not as simple as these people just don't like Democrats. Like, I saw Bill Maher, for example, and he's like a Democrat, I think. At least he said that, I think, because recently he said, I'm not with them anymore, or something like that. They're just like basically cool with Muslims coming in and just taking over. I get that. It's like some people are pointing out that that's not just like in a vacuum, that it's like their Jewish identity. And so you got to take that into account. Like, a lot of things are happening at once, but whatever. What was I going with that? Hassan Pike or Mao. I don't know much about Mao. A lot of these guys, Mao Zedong, Hitler. I mean, a lot of these guys at one point, if at some point I went crazy, I don't know. I just don't know. Look, I wasn't there. But they say today we're supposed to care a lot about it. But at some point, these guys were seen by their people as like, wow, this guy's going to make our country great. Am I wrong? That doesn't make Mao a good guy. And that doesn't even make Hitler a good guy. But it's like, that's how they saw them at one point. And so we know it's just very easy to talk out of your arse about these things. There are maybe some differences, though. You can make some differences if you wanted to. If he's really talking that nicely about Mao Zedong.
To the Democrat.
What is he even saying here before I say this? What's he even saying here? It's a minute clip. Why not?
No more to Trumpism, but no more to the Democrats who compromise, who conciliate, and who betray us.
These like little Nancy Pelosi's and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, let's bend over backwards for all these races, all this made up stuff. It's like, oh, you're not doing it fast enough. You're not. It's funny. The radicals of the right are like, you're not deporting them fast enough. And it's like, I get it. I actually kind of wish the Trump was more right wing in it, but I'm not mad about it. It's like what it was supposed to be for its time. As the years go by, I see that more. But it's like, they're like, oh, you're not enough. But they got it too. They're like, you're not redistributing the wealth enough. I have to imagine a little bit of what he's mad about. Because like, what's he got to be mad about with, like, I don't know, the Nancy Pelosi's and stuff. Besides, I don't know, just bad governance, which seems to be a feature of the Maos of the world. More on that later.
No more to the fascist reactionaries, but no more to the Democrats who will collaborate and cooperate with the fascists, who will fund ICE, who will fund Israel, who will help poison the planet, who will stiff workers and help bosses. We don't need those Democrats anymore.
What's his voice he's got on? Anymore.
In fact, we have a message.
No, we. What is this, like Chat GPT? What is not even Chat GPT? Chat GPT would never say this. This is what you write. I don't know why I'm being particularly critical, but I'm really only being particularly critical because I feel like I would write this. I would like, dude, Nick, it's your job. You got to write a good speech, man, and really get him going. It's like, it would be like kind of contrived and like theatric like this, like, we.
In fact, we have a message. We are coming. We are on boss.
Hey-o.
We're on bot. We're unbound. And we will become undeniable.
Undeniable. What are these college girls like?
Thank you.
That's the scariest part, actually. So you're getting a little bit of this from him, and right. My thing is like about today, now versus Mao. Like, why do you hate where you were born so much? And the things you're saying is ridiculous. I already said it, right? he's mad. You're mad at like what? Nancy Pelosi's. Maybe that's a bad avatar of what I'm saying. But again, what is Democrat? They've bent over backwards in the most insane things. And what you're saying, what you're asking more for, makes even less sense. Like it's so off the deep end. No ICE, abolish ICE. You have to believe like no one is illegal and all this stuff. So this guy, I guess they pulled up how he like loves Mao. And it's like, no, but this guy was dressed that way because he loves Mao.
Up by a cop.
Again, back to what I was saying earlier. That I even know less about. It's like what they say about Hitler and like all that. But you know what? On comparing, if we may compare for a moment, if we're going to do this comparing thing, you know, the accepted, let's call it the, and then we'll get to calls, the, what do they call it? What's the word I'm looking for? What's the term I'm looking for? Not the main story, when the conspiracy theorists say, oh, that's the accepted story, that's the what story? What am I thinking of? The agreed story, the accepted story, why am I blanking here? I'm stuck on it, waiting on chat, but it's okay. You know, the accepted narrative of a story, you know? In terms of that, they say they attribute like 60 million deaths and a great famine to Mao. They don't attribute any famines or anything like that to Hitler. Now they do attribute the Holocaust, which is a colossal loss of life in this industrial, like horrific way, but barring that, which is insane, right? Well, it's like, Nick, barring, why would you want to bar that? It's like, barring that, it's insane. But it's like, just do this mental thing with me for a second. Barring that, it's like the deaths attributed to Hitler, it's like war stuff. That doesn't make it any more justified. I'm just saying it's like, I don't know, mentalities here. If you're gonna do this like even Stevens thing where it's like if Nick Fuentes gets to say Hitler wasn't, I mean, why are you hating Hitler? Then Hassan Piker gets to say Mao Zedong, blah blah blah. If we want to do a comparing thing, this is kind of interesting. Barring the Holocaust, I know it's saying the deaths were like war stuff. Mao Zedong has the greatest famine in human history attributed to him. And it's just, you know, he really believed it had to do with this like land reform stuff. It has to go back to the people, but he was like serious about it. Some other communists, this is a very crude take on this, but some other communists are like, yeah, we're doing that. And then it's like, we'll get to that. No, we got to hoard the money because, and then they don't exactly do that. But Mao Zedong was serious and it resulted in famines. A very crude summary. But yeah, land reform, think South Africa, right? Think South Africa. No, the land is really going to go back to those who were taking it from or some BS. In the case of China, it's like the workers. Again, very crude. I haven't done too much homework, but put it like this. He like actually went for it and it's like 60 million dead. Greatest famine of all time attributed to him. Do you want to be a little bit scrutinizing here a little bit? I think you might want to. I don't know. But anyway, stuff I was seeing and thinking about. I got Gerardo, Illinois, man. You've been waiting here. I appreciate your patience in the last few minutes of the show. Sir.
How you doing?
I got you on the air, man.
Hey, how you doing? I just had a quick question.
Sure.
I just wanted to know, well, my original question was, how do you stay on the straight and narrow path with, you know, everything going on, I guess, in the world? And I guess it's a two-part question. Like, how did you come to walk this path? Like, you know.
I don't know. I don't really know if I can answer that second part of your question so well yet because, you know, I think about it, and if I think about it too much, I get lost. Like, am I following the path and like the Bible and like what Jesus said and what I heard Jesse say? But I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Anger is evil, man. It's so evil, and I'm wrong for it. And when I come back into the light and I'm done with it, I just know that I was wrong, and I just want more of that. I want more of that light. I want more understanding. And I just want more of that because when I pray, it works. And when I stop praying, it goes to heck. So you ask me, how do I stay on the path? I don't know, man, but consider like, try and remember, and I don't know if this is for you, try and remember how when it was working, and I don't know if you agree with this, but like, if you pray, for example, but like, the praying was working, and then when I stopped, it was hell. So let me try and remember the truth here and remember what was working and stay on the path. I hope that makes a little bit of sense.
It makes sense. But
do you pray? Do you do the silent prayer?
I do it morning and night. Sometimes when I'm like falling asleep, I'm like, well, I've been having trouble sleeping lately. But anyways, that's besides the point. Sometimes when I'm falling asleep, I'm like, oh, did I do it? And then I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. So I just, get myself back up and I make sure to do it. And I haven't missed it maybe for now about, I would say maybe a month or so, but the thing is, like, I don't know if it's working or not because, like I said, right now I'm having, like, trouble sleeping. And then that trouble sleeping comes with, like, I guess you could say the fear, because I'm like always worrying about like, oh, am I going to be able to sleep? And then if I don't sleep, I'm going to be groggy tomorrow at work or no energy. I'm going to have to power through work. And it's just like makes me question, like if I'm, on the right, like, am I following the straight and narrow path, and it's like, it's very frustrating to me because I want to be of the light. I really do because I had a counseling with Jesse maybe like a month ago, and I told him, I'm like, I pushed Christ away, or God. I pushed him away since like the time that I could remember was when I was like maybe like a freshman or sophomore in high school. I'm 39 now, and when I was a freshman and sophomore in high school, I started hanging around with friends from the neighborhood I grew up in, and we started getting into like heavy dark metal stuff, and I went down that route. And I told Jesse, I'm like, I always pushed God away, but yet God was with me. Now that I'm older and I'm trying to walk the straight and narrow path, God was always with me, pretty much like having my back, and I just didn't acknowledge that. But now that I'm trying to comprehend this way of life, because I watch church and stuff, and like I watch the JLP show almost every day, and then the Hake, and now I watch your show. I like your show. I feel like I could relate to you a little more. So yeah, it's just. I don't know
listen, man, because of
thing.
time, and I hate to do this, man. And call me again. We're just right at the end here.
It's all right.
Because of time, I'll just try and be clear and succinct. You're stressing out, and you're not seeing it. That's why you're not sleeping. Yeah. That's why you even said it yourself. You even kind of know it. You're stressing about this and that. Yeah. You're stressing out about things, and you're not seeing it. But honestly, this kind of requires more time and the proper time for your call. So can you call me again or call Jesse? I mean, it sounds like you already got counseling. I mean, he's really the counselor. I mean, let me make that clear. Right. He's really the counselor. Right. He's got so much experience with this. But this requires more. This requires its proper time, man. And I hate to just rush you, right? So again, be on the short end, it's like you're stressing and you're not seeing it. Honestly, that's really the truth. Yeah, but call me again so we could talk about it, or call Jesse so you could really talk about this in a fuller way, man.
Sounds good, man. Thanks a lot, Nick.
Take it easy, Gerardo. Call me again.
Have a good day.
I'm saying this. Sometimes white me says it, and sometimes Hispanic me says it. I'm like Gerardo. Sometimes I'm like Gerardo, and I'm like tripping me out of here. Okay, I'm split. It's a schism. Don't be split, kids. Don't be double-minded. Okay, that's enough from the Anchor Baby. Appreciate it, folks. More American Anchor Baby tomorrow. That's Country Western Tuesday, the Hake Report, and more Anchor Baby. Take care for now, and I shall see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.